put out guidance now twice. We were actually one of the first ones to put out some guidance on this. We've recently put out some other guidance, but we are and will continue to be in contact with local healthcare officials. In the event that we need to take any more drastic measures, I think if something like that happens, we will all be aware of it because it's going to be, a little bit more of a broader issue. But we are continuing to monitor that and hope for the very best in the outcome here that's on us now and in front of us.
Are there special guidelines given to schools by HHS?
Just the ones that you've seen us publish, recently. So there aren't like a specific one. In fact, right now, part of the guidance that is emerging is people are buying masks so much, there's a shortage in the medical field. So
They're not buying the right masks.
they're not buying the right masks. So, I mean, but more, just the general, what I have seen, Terry, is just the general good hygiene practices that are always appropriate, whether it's the flu or anything else.
How do we notify or inform that general, the cautious actions, like wash your hand 20 times?
We've done that.
20 seconds.
We've put messaging out for
Yeah,
that.
I don't know, maybe he didn't, we should have gotten that before.
That is a really good question.
I got it, I got the one that was.
I got one, but it's
I don't know if you're going on.
As a parent,
Yeah.
I don't think
Did
I
you
got
get
one
one,
on the
Terry?
board mail.
I got one, I
No,
don't
we
know.
didn't get it on our board mail. It was
Okay.
only as a parent.
as long as we are reaching out,
Yeah.
communicating to the
Yeah,
parents.
yeah, we just sent something
Was that on the
back.
website?
It was.
I believe
it might
so,
have been,
yeah.
I know I didn't get an email for it, but I remember.
Yeah, make it more
Yeah.
consistent. Of course, we want all the messages that are going to our parents, that go to our board members, who are parents,
Yeah.
or whose kids are older, or our parents. Okay, any update from board members? I would like to have that, there's so much passion and so much great work even done around what we were talking about tonight. I would like to set a presentation or something to update, because there's a lot, I think we would all like to hear more.
Okay.
So it's substantive. All right, update from any other board members? All right, the education committee?
Yes, that's me. We had an education committee meeting on February 11th. Present were myself and Sheila, and of course, Sean was there, we had some guests, a member of the public, actually from in this room. We had a great update from Sean Nesmer, Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum and Instruction, first on the Math One program. We've been getting a lot of positive feedback, both from our partner districts and our buildings, and we're at that, it's all based on halfway through the first year of the new competency-based math program. 965 freshman students are taking Math 1 and showing a dramatic increase in A's as well as an increase in B's. It's really impressive. So we'll know more at the end of the year, and I'm sure Sean will report back.
There's another piece to this, though, that's really important. And first of all, I want to give a lot of credit for the work Sean's done and our math people, especially Ms. Melissa Dubich, who's Dr. Collins' assistant principal for teaching and learning, who's really been the point person in this. We have more freshman students accessing the regular curriculum in math right now than we've ever had in the history of the district. So you talk about, one of the things that you do to increase equity is you got to increase access. And so the support that we've gotten for our students and strategies, is literally right now, and think about this historically. We have probably the highest percentage of students that are low income, the most diversity we've ever had, and yet today, as we sit here, we have the most freshman students accessing freshman math in our district. So that's a big deal. That's
And
a
some of
really,
them might be taking
and
two
successfully.
courses because they're taking the foundations, problem solving as well.
Yeah.
So, they're really getting it.
But that's the kind of, results matter, okay? So the fact that that's happening is a really, really big deal.
Yeah, it was good information. We also, Sean also went over college admissions and daily credit issues, and he attended, I believe you attended the CADCOM. That's the Chicago Area Directors of Curriculum and Assessment. There was a meeting with representatives from the University of Illinois, DePaul, and the University of Chicago on admission trends. And it was noted that test optional ACT and SAT will be the norm in 5 years. There is a trend of colleges capping the amount of AP credit they're awarding students, which confirms the importance of our pivot in 2007 toward dual credit enrollment, because those courses immediately provide students with college credit. Those courses are transferable to Illinois State colleges. Weighted credit, they talked about that too, and they said it's not a factor in college admissions. Consideration is given to the rigor of courses that students take and grade trends, so how they do over the course of their high school career. Only 38% of Illinois high schools have kept class rank, and self-reporting of GPA in courses taken is becoming the norm. Colleges also re-weight GPAs because there's not really a consistent method among high schools about how they weight courses. He provided also a competency pilot update. Math 2 and the companion course, Foundations of Problem Solving 2, are under development. Also, the English team has met to look at a competency model, and conversation has started on an integrated science program. That interesting meeting was adjourned after about an hour, and a little less than an hour.
Extremely interesting. Wonderful, thank you. Construction update?
So later this week on Thursday, we open all of the bid packages for phase 1 of construction. Those Pepper Construction will then perform scope reviews and will bring recommendations for awarding those bids at the special board meeting on March 16th. The schools are eagerly looking at the moving and packing plans, which start spring break, or in the cases of some spaces are already started at South. I guess the main office has moved out already so that we can focus on the classrooms during spring break. Today we had our first round of phase 1 furniture meetings to furnish the spaces that we've designed for phase 1 and bid. It was at Maine South. We will have Maine East later this week and Maine West next week. And we are also tomorrow starting our phase 2, which is all the other spaces in the building that aren't this summer, design meetings to go through the road. So it's a very busy construction time. We've noted that special board meeting on March 16th, which is the date of the, that we traditionally had the Buildings and Grounds and Finance Committee meeting, and then we really start construction on March 20th with abatement and moving out, moving back in, and then the true next phase of the project starts May 11th, when we start to do the groundbreaking on some of the construction.
You said May 11th.
May 11th.
And that board meeting on the 16th, that's at 4 p.m.?
4 p.m.
We agree.
Yeah, 25 bid packages, so.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's only specifically for this, right?
And who will be participating for the phase meetings, for the chairs?
For, well, any representatives of the impacted spaces. So, for instance, today at the teacher workroom, we probably had 15 people, from teachers, department chairs, administrative assistants.
Maybe more like closer to 30.
Okay, maybe 30, I mean, it was a lot of people. But, so the teachers that teach in the rooms that are being redone are representing the meeting. So we did, all the visual arts teachers were at the visual arts meeting. A lot of the consumer science and the FCS teachers were at their meeting. So anybody who's impacted is attending the forestry meeting.
You just taking a specific time?
Well, and we do them back to back, so it'll be like this 45 minutes is this group, the next 45 minutes is this group, 20 minutes for this group, an hour for this group based on the size of the space and the complexity of the space.
Excellent. It's exciting times. All right, moving on to monthly status of finances.
In your board packet is the January financial statements. We are in line with budget. If you look by the fund-to-fund level, again, the only one where you see revenues and expenditures both over budget, but by comparable amount, is the debt service fund, because we did that partial refunding where you then have to record both the refunding as a revenue and an expenditure, has no net amount except that it saved the taxpayers interest. So we felt necessary to do that, but all the other funds are in line with where we believe they should be at this portion of the year. I'll entertain any questions that anybody has on the January financial statement.
Any questions?
So what we have in the packet is the National Merit Scholarship Finalist List. So I think it was 2 months ago, we brought you the commended students. And we have, of that, for the district, 4 finalists, 1 from West, Olivia Bitcon, and 3 from South, Isabella Brown, Danielle Lazinski, and Micah.
Any questions about that? All right, FOIA request?
5 this month, all processed or being processed.
Do I have a motion on the consent agenda, items 7A through E?
So moved. Second.
Austriaco?
Aye.
Collins? Coyle?
Aye.
Lee?
Yes on seven A one, but abstain on seven A two.
Owen?
Aye.
Yusuf Abramson?
Aye.
Bessler? Aye. Do I have a motion on the second reading of the Board of Education policies, number 8?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Coyle?
Aye.
Lee?
Aye.
Yusuf Abramson?
Aye.
Austriaco?
Aye.
Collins?
Aye.
Owen?
Aye.
Bessler? Aye. Do I have a motion on number 9, approval of the school calendar?
So moved.
Second.
So this is an adjustment to the school calendar. We originally voted on this in October. However, as we've gone along in the construction process, reconvening with principals, they asked for us to work with our teacher representatives to discuss perhaps bringing staff back a day earlier, which would give them a day, a buffer to help them move in. We're probably not going to be releasing spaces back to the buildings until very late in the summer, and this will build that into their work year, rather than putting it in predicament for them to either come in a little earlier, maybe over the weekend. This does not impact the student calendar at all. This is strictly just the staff. So they would really take a day off the back of the year and move it to the front of the year.
Okay. Any
So-
questions?
Yeah, so wait. Explain that. What do you
What
mean?
happens is, students are not affected,
Right.
and we take the day, the staff was originally going to be coming back the Tuesday after Memorial for a staff-only day. We're taking that off of the end of the year and moving it to the front of the year, so they'll come in for 3 days instead of 2 days at the start.
In August.
In August.
Got it.
So
Thank you.
summer school will start when?
This doesn't have anything to do with summer school.
Doesn't
This is
impact-
the actual
This is the
regular
start of the
calendar.
school year.
I mean,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, I see, 12.
Okay. Any other
Yep.
questions? Coyle?
Aye.
Collins?
Aye.
Owen?
Aye.
Lee?
Aye.
Austriaco?
Aye.
Yusuf Abramson?
Aye.
Bessler? Aye. All right, do I have a motion on 10A, approval of a bid award contracts with Herf Jones for Maine South Yearbook?
So moved.
Second.
The yearbook staff and students went through a process where they interviewed 3 yearbook companies. They had previously been with Johnston's. They are recommending a 5-year contract with Herb Jones. This contract will allow them to provide a high caliber yearbook at the same cost that it currently is at $45. They felt that Herb Jones provided the students with the most comprehensive package that there was. I believe Maine West is also with Herb Jones, which we've been giving the students the latitude to match the yearbook company that best matches their needs.
So is there any cost savings? It sounds like maybe it's used with someone else. Is there any?
So
cost
there is no
savings?
cost savings to
All
go
three
in
went
all
through?
3. They are very, very different yearbooks. Maine South is the largest because it sells the most. Has the largest student population and has the most number of students buying it. So they have a number, where they get more colored pages because they can pay for them in the volume of the book. So all of the yearbook costs are the same, the sizes of the yearbooks are slightly different based on the volumes.
Is that Herb Jones also the one where the students get the rings?
They also do graduation products, both Johnston's and Herb Jones.
Okay.
Jocelyn and Herb Jones are just like two big players in the market, and have been forever.
Any other questions? Yusuf Abramson? Lee?
Aye.
Collins? Coyle? Owen?
Aye.
Austriaco?
Aye.
Bessler? Aye. We have a motion on 10B, assignment of bid package contracts, zero contracts? Why does it say
Some
zero?
why does it say zero?
Why does it
Bid
say
package zero, because that is, the pre-purchase was bid package zero. So these are all of the contracts that we, I don't know why they started the numbering at zero instead of one.
Okay.
That's just what they did.
A little different? Yes, okay. We need a second.
Second.
All right, Mary, you want to?
So all of these contracts were previously awarded by the board. We are now assigning them to Pepper Construction, because with our construction management contract, we assign all of the contracts to Pepper, so that should we ever need to dissolve a dispute with anyone, we're going after one person and not 25 different contracts with 75 different vendors. So, in future, we will do an award and assign in the same motion, but, the attorneys thought it was best practice, even though our contract signed it, to do a physical assignment of these contracts.
So, just so I understand the logistics, so we actually, do we sign these? Does Paula sign these and then we assign them over?
So, we award it and then assign. So the signed contract that the contractor signs is with Pepper.
Okay.
And so we'll be doing this for years,
Gotcha.
so we'll be doing a lot of these, same thing, though.
We pay the bills, so we hold the money, Pepper holds the contract.
Okay.
There is no, since Pepper is taking on, to a certain extent, the risk, there is no increase in any of the charges that.
No, this was how our RFP for construction management was written.
Okay.
Good, you're good, okay. Take a vote.
And Lee,
Oh, sure.
and we'll always review, like how we review these for.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
the
always
board
do that.
will always award, so the motion will be award and assign.
Okay, the board assigned, then bring them back to the board for approval, right?
Well, in the awarding, the board approval is the award.
Okay, all right, got it.
Right. And then we assign.
Correct.
We're never signing.
We've never signed them.
We assign.
I like that.
Yeah, I like that too. Okay. Lee?
Aye.
Yusuf Abramson? Collins?
Aye.
Austriaco?
Aye.
Owen?
Aye.
Coyle?
Aye.
Bessler? Aye. Do I have a motion on 10C, joint purchasing cooperative resolutions 1 through 5?
Second.
So the joint purchasing cooperatives what they are governmental public entities who are awarded bids under the public bidding statutes of the state of Illinois. And by virtue of doing that, then we can tag onto those awarded bids and procure items. In our case, it's mostly furniture. So what we'll then do is use these bids to streamline the process. In some cases, like for instance, the teacher workroom furniture, we were buying in such a volume that the award is an individually negotiated price. So in that instance, we got a 77% discount off of list price, which is a lot, yeah.
Was that more than what the?
Yeah, so once you were in a $500,000 bucket, it's an individually negotiated, so that stopped at like 67%, so we were able to get an additional 10% savings because of our volume. So this will allow us to procure our items using those processes and achieve greater savings because of the volumes that these joint purchasing cooperatives bring to the table.
Each of these, it doesn't really list what these are for?
No, because you join the cooperative and then you get access to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of contracts.
So basically, we're.
Correct, so we may
we're
be,
joining these.
correct, and so like, for instance, Smith Systems is represented by 2 of these contracts, so we will get quotations from both of those contracts which have been awarded under a bid to see which is the best price.
Do you anticipate we'll have more cooperatives we're doing, or will this be?
This should hopefully be it,
Okay.
because these are the major 5 that are in compliance with the Illinois laws, because we make sure that they have to have the bid process that was awarded following the Illinois laws.
Yusuf Abramson. Austriaco.
Aye.
Collins. Lee.
Aye.
Bessler. Do I have a motion on the single student and small group student transportation?
So moved.
Through four.
Second.
3 years ago, we awarded the bid for single student and small group transportation to 4 different companies. 2 for the regular special ed transportation, 1 to students requiring specialized days, and 1 to students with medical needs. As part of that bid, we were allowed to do a 1-year, 2 one-year contract extensions at an increase no greater than CPI. For a point of reference, CPI was 2.3%. 3 of the 4 contracts we are recommending having a 2.3% increase. The other one is held flat on the medical needs because it is a very expensive contract. It should be noted that other transportation providers are seeing in excess of double-digit increases because of the shortage of labor in this area. But we are happy with the services that are being provided. They are happy to have a regular stream of cash flows and have routes that are already worked out, so this is a win-win.
Any questions on it? Collins. Coyle. Lee. Owen. Austriaco. Yusuf Abramson. Bessler. Okay. Item 11 is the calendar items. As been noted several times, our special board meeting for contact is on the 16th of March. If you're attending the North Cook Spring Dinner Meeting, let Jenny know. And then there's April 6th. What's the April 13th? What is that for?
That's if needed, that is one, if, I believe we're doing a reduction in force, we will not need this one.
Because, okay. Yeah, we do have, so we can take that out.
We do have the ad hoc policy for the meeting on March 12th, 18:30. It begins at 8 a.m.
What date did you decide then? Was it
March 12th,
Okay.
8?
8 a.m.
Policy, right?
Yeah.
Ad hoc, and it'll be in 127.
All right. May I have a motion to go into closed sessions for the purposes of, oh, hang on one second, communications or public comments? Do I have a motion to go into closed session for the purposes of student personnel, review of closed session minutes, probable development or pending litigation, and collective negotiating matters?
Motion. Second.